I've had this sketchbook now for almost a year and a half, and I finally finished it, so I'm doing another sketchbook tour, the third on my channel now. This sketchbook I took out with me. It was my traveling sketchbook, basically. So whenever I went to a castle or, I don't know, a museum or something, I always took this one instead of my other one, which stays at home most of the time. I counted, and I think this sketchbook has been to about like 25 or 26 places. I have the illustrations of 29 places, but some of them I didn't actually draw on the site. So technically it's like 25 or 26. So this sketchbook has traveled a lot. This is a sketchbook that I made myself. I actually have a video of me making this. It's one of my earlier videos. I'll put a little card in the corner if you want to watch how I make it. But it has over the year and a half that I've had it, it has started to kind of fall apart, or not fall apart, but just become like very loose. The binding moves a lot, which is kind of annoying. But that's probably because I didn't use waxed thread. Yeah, so next time I'll probably use waxed thread when making a book. But it's still held together nicely. And you can see that it's a really boring cover, because this is actually just meant to be just like the reinforcing cover. I always had a plan to like do something on it, like collage or paint something on. But at the start, I didn't want to cover this up. So like if I put like paper around, I didn't want to cover it up. But over time, like the neat little crosses have kind of just got all messy, so now I don't really care. So later on, I'm going to be finally putting a cover on this sketchbook, so you can see that later. Also, just a little note, sorry about the horrible shadows, but I have no other choice. I can't film anywhere else, really. And it is a pretty gloomy day, so I hope it doesn't ruin the images and stuff. Okay, so here we go. I haven't done anything for the front cover, which is usually what I do. I might add something like a title or the date or something later on, but I don't know. This is the first place that I went to with this sketchbook. It was the Russell Coates Museum in Bournemouth. I went with my friends and we just hung out and we all drew things, which was nice and fun. And yeah, you can see this is the 11th of June 21. So that's the first time I drew in this. Some more statues from the Russell Coates. I was very rusty at the time, so I remember I couldn't get this person's legs right, so they're a bit too short. But I like the ducks. The ducks were from a painting, I remember. Here are some kiwis. I don't know if you can see that well. And some cows. This is the first floor of the Russell Coates, like the main stairwell. I never did anything on this piece of tracing paper, but oh well. This was the first time I went on a plein air walk with some friends around Bournemouth. We sat down in the lower gardens and just drew whatever we could see at the time. It was basically like an introduction to plein air for me, so we went somewhere else as well. And I painted this with watercolour. Well, I wouldn't say an introduction to plein air, but like it got me into it more. This is when we went to Croft Castle, my flatmates / friends and I. Did I say Croft or Corf? Because Croft is another castle. Corf Castle. There's a little flower that I found there as well. I also like to keep the maps that I find from these places. Also, I forgot to mention that this sketchbook started off as a sketchbook for my pre-major project at university in my final year. So I made the sketchbook and basically decided to use it just for that project. So there is a bit of research and notes in this as well. I think this was actually for the essay that I had to do at the same time. I'll just skip through those. And yeah, more notes from the lectures. This is when we went to Beaulieu, as you can see. I just drew that there. I wasn't expecting to not want to draw that much there. This is another place that we went to called The Weald. It's basically like a big site where they've brought in and rebuilt different houses from all over the UK, if that makes sense. Like, there's stuff from medieval times or Tudor times, and it's really interesting to walk through. It's basically like a village. Some more things from there. This was I copied an illustration that was next to one of the cottages, explaining stuff to do with how, like, where vegetables and stuff were planted. So I noted that down because I like that kind of stuff. This is a map of the place, so you can see there's lots of different buildings. It's a big place. This is the sculpture park. I don't actually remember if I actually drew on site or if these are drawings that I used from photos. I think this is a scan from another sketchbook that I know I definitely did take to the sculpture park, and I drew that while I was there, but I think these I actually drew back at home. And same here, these are the scans from the other sketchbook, and I never finished this page. This is a National Trust property called Polesden Lacey. These were the gardens. I really hate how these statues turned out. They went really badly. The statues in real life were very nice. These went a bit better, but that's because I drew these back at home and this. But yeah. Some more maps from the Polesden Lacey. I stuck this in and I never did anything else with the page. This is in Portsmouth. It's Porchester Castle. I drew this, I watercolored this before when I was at home, and then when I was in the castle, there's a keep, like it's meant to be the tallest keep in the UK, or one of the tallest keeps, or it used to be. So I was on top of that when I drew these. This is what I could see from the top. Some objects and another side of the keep. As you can see, I have different types of paper in this sketchbook, and I really like the effects sometimes that it creates. Before I colored this in, this was a lot better. It looked a lot nicer before I added the colors, so you could actually see everything a lot nicer. It was a nice effect. But yeah, this was just outside the castle. We just sat next to the I don't know if it's a port or just, I don't know, it was near the sea. And again, I was keeping all these maps and drawing as much as possible because my project was based around, well, I was making a comic, but it was set in times where there's castles and towers and stuff. This, I went on a little day trip with my friends, which I also have. I have a little vlog of it, which I will put a card in the corner if you want to watch that, where I draw these kind of things. But yeah, this was in Westbourne. Couldn't think of it for a second there. This was in Westbourne. My friends and I went on a day trip, and we walked like from a specific part all the way down to the beach. And we all sat and drew. This was near the beach, and it was it was called the Tropical Gardens. We were there around autumn, so I'm not sure if it was at its prime, but yeah. I hate this page. This is meant to be like an old wall. I was just trying to experiment. And then this I drew while we went to a pizza place afterwards. And this was a piece that both myself and Rosemary kind of collaborated on. So we each drew in our sketchbook, and then we gave our sketchbook to the other person so that we could draw on top of it. I think the one that Rosemary has in her sketchbook came out nicer. So these are one of the few pages that aren't technically, they're not plein air. I use photos from the internet to practice drawing wolves and towers, because those were the main things in the comic that I was doing for the project. So I was just practicing, and I got these from a website called wildlifereferencephotos.com, in case you were interested. This was a solo trip. I went on my own one day to a place called Cliff Castle. It was about like 40 minutes away from Bournemouth. And it was a nice day. It was a bit cold, but there weren't many people. I was sometimes just on my own in the place. So I was just able to sit down and just draw all the things that I could see. This was the outside. It was a very quick sketch because I'd already sketched it in my other sketchbook that I took as well. And then this is the same place, but I went down. It was really close to the beach and the sea. So these are actually two images, but they look like they're the same place. they're two different like viewpoints, but they look like they're kind of together. They're not meant to be. This I did with just some like, I have a water brush that I've put some ink in. It was running out, as you can see, but I like the effect that it created. And again, there was a bench, I think I was going up a little cliff to try and get back to the bus station, or the bus stop, and there was a bench and it was a nice view, so I decided to draw it for a bit. Oh, again, I have this in a blog, so if you want to see me drawing these things and going around Highcliffe Castle, you can again go to the video that I'll put a card in the corner. More studies from photos to try and, because again there was a deer in what I was drawing, so I needed to practice that. I'm not sure if you can see these, but I'll do a little close-up shot. These are just some sketches that I did while I was at a market. It was called, I think the actual company is called Beef, B-E-A-F, but the market was called Bad Market. I was there with the Zine Society because we managed to get a table there to sell our zines. It was for the Christmas market. I remember it was freezing cold because they had the door open all the time, and we were next to the door, and at least two of us got a cold after one day of tabling, so I couldn't table for like a week afterwards because I had a terrible cold. So that was fun. Nice memories. This is a little layer experiment, drawing stuff from my garden, or a viewpoint from my garden. I think this is in Bournemouth again. I think this is the main park, and this definitely is. This is I don't know what it's called. I can't remember, but it's where musicians usually sometimes play. This is just a random timetable I tried to make for myself because there was a lot going on and I was a bit confused and I needed to have it down. Again, you can't really see it, but this is a little, it's kind of, I guess it's a still life. We went to a place called All Fired Up. It's a cafe and a ceramics place in Bournemouth. I'd already finished drawing my ceramic piece, so I just drew a bit while I waited. This is now in Bristol. We went to I'm not sure exactly what the name is, but it's the Bristol museum and art gallery, I think. So this is a mixture of stuff like from the Egyptian section and other sections. Now this is back near where I live. It's the church that's near us. I just drew it from a couple of angles. And then this is in a place called the Blue Pool that my friends and I went to after we were done with our university course. So it was the 14th of May, as you can see. It was a nice little trip to just kind of chillax, have some fun after a very stressful end of year. So I drew some of the ducks that were... The Blue Pool is basically a lake, and there were some ducks, so I drew the ducks. I was trying out some new pens that I got, some Ecoline pens, but it didn't turn out that great, but it's fine. And then a little branch and the receipt and the ticket from the Blue Pool. Again, I have a video, I was plugging all the time. I have a video of us coming here and drawing and hanging out. So again, that's going to be in the corner. And this is my favourite piece that I made when at the Blue Pool. We all just sat on picnic blankets for a good while, like next to the shore of the lake, and it was a really nice time. This is when I went to Bournemouth Beach with some friends just to hang out. That's my friend Louise. We are going we're moving from south to further up north in the UK. We keep going up and down in this sketchbook, but it's fine. So this is back at home, further up north. This is in a place called Leominster, and we were next to the Grange Court, and I did a little sketch of it, and then when I got back home, I coloured it in. These were some sketches that I was just doing while we waited for a funeral service. And then this was some cakes and stuff at the wake later on. And this is when I realised that I have very little pages left, so I kind of wanted to try and draw as much as possible so I could get to the end of it. So these are... I think this is the only image that I did on site, and the rest I drew from photos, but we went to a butterfly zoo, which was, I think that's my first time I've ever been to a butterfly zoo, and it was it was so nice and magical, just having butterflies everywhere. But yeah. Well, maybe I did actually draw on site, because they're very badly drawn. I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe these. I don't remember. And then this is a sketch I did when in Bristol, back in Bristol, a year later. Actually, no, that's 5 or 6 months later. And my amazing scribble on a tree. I think that's the best bit. This is in Worcester Cathedral. I was trying out a new pen that my friend Della gave me. And then this is in Raglan Castle, which is basically this place. I just drew different things like the window, and that's a bunch of maps that just fell out. And again, there was a really tall keep or tower, and you could see for miles. And this was in the far distance, this mountain. I really wanted to draw it for some reason. And this is from last Saturday. We went to our community centre, where there was a musician playing. I think her name is Jemima Phillips. She's quite well known. She plays the harp, but it's an electric harp, and she uses loopers, and it's subverted expectations completely because I was expecting just a normal harpist, but it was really good. It was amazing. Her music is just so good. And we got to listen to some of her songs that she's working on for her EP that she's going to try and, I think she said she was going to work on at the start of next year and like try and release about halfway through or something. And yeah, they were so good, and they definitely made me want to buy them when they release. But yeah, I was just very badly trying to just draw her in different positions while she was playing, and different parts of where we were. And then this was the final page, which was where I went yesterday. The place is called Croome. I couldn't remember for a second. Croome. It's basically an estate house, a National Trust property. I was spending a lot of time with this, but then we kind of ran out of time and we had to leave, so I did this part very quickly. But yeah, and then that was it. I finished it yesterday. Started it on the 11th of June. Where did they go? Here, 11th of June. Started it on the 11th of June. Finished yesterday, which was, I think, the 22nd of November, 2022. So yeah, I'm glad to have finally finished this because I felt like this was a constant in my life. But yeah, and I'm happy with a lot of the things that I drew in here. The things that fell out were some things from Raglan Castle. In case it's a really amazing castle, Raglan Castle. But yeah, some more maps. It's in Wales, so the maps are in English and in Welsh. Oh, and then that's Worcester Cathedral. I need to figure out what to do with these things. But yeah, that's it. And I'm actually super close to finishing my other sketchbook, which stays at home. So I'm gonna have 2 sketchbooks done, and I'm gonna have to replace them both. I haven't actually thought about what my next sketchbook's gonna be for my other one, but for this one, I'm thinking I'm going to use this, which is a book that I bought when I went to Athens, like 2 years ago now. It's actually been ready. Like I gutted it and I made new signatures, and it's just been sitting here for like 2 years because basically there's some writing in the spine here, and I thought that was just really cool because it's like secret. It's a secret. You know, you wouldn't have known that there was writing in the spine unless you gutted it. Obviously, I have no idea what it says because I can't read Greek. But I don't like the thought of like gluing this permanently so that you can't see it. So that's why I've just left it for ages. I might I might make a band so that I can just slot it in so that I can still take it out, but I'll figure that out, I guess. But yeah, this is going to be a nice little travel sketchbook. It's a lot smaller, so it'll fit in my coat pocket. And yeah, I look forward to using it and having a new sketchbook. I hope you enjoyed this little flip through of the sketchbook. There are good bits and bad bits. I think the thing I am most proud of is this. I made a print out of it. But yeah, I was very sketchy and loose, and I didn't try to make final pieces in here. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I stopped using this like as a sketchbook for my project, I think at around here or so. Oh no, probably around here, because this is definitely when we finished our course. So it was just this amount that I didn't use for the project, because as I said, the sketchbook was meant for the project. But yeah, now it's time to finally make a cover for the cover. I'm kind of glad that I waited until now, because it has got a bit scuffed. You know, it's been to lots of places, and I think if I'd put a cover on, it would have got a bit ruined. So let's go do that now. So this is what it looks like now that I've added the canvas onto it. I'm quite upset that this has all happened. It must have been a combination of the canvas being too thin and like applying too much glue. So it's annoying, but the good thing is that at least I'm not gonna use it because it's finished, so I don't have to look at it all the time. I want to try and have like a sticker here on the front, but I want to cover this. So that has been quite difficult. To begin with, I wanted to have this sticker from LMA's sketchbook. But then I found out that it's see-through and it won't, I'm not sure if it'll cover up the spot very well. I still like it, but I'm not sure. I've got another sticker here from LMA. But I feel like it's a bit too awkward. I think if it was in the middle, it would look better. But I want to cover up this, so it's difficult. I have these stickers. Celestial Bugs from Artly, also known as Ghostly. I'm gonna get these out and experiment with them. I did have 4, but I'm not sure where the other one's gone. I'm pretty sure I haven't used it, but these stickers are so nice, I love them. And that one would look pretty good, I think. But also, this one. And that covers up a nice amount of the spot. Oh, it's difficult to decide. It's really difficult to decide. I'm not sure. I'm gonna play around with it and see. I still do really like this one. Let's play around with it. Let's see. Do this one. Oh, actually, I like that a lot. I can just about cover up the thing.